Namatu Ratana Tayasa. May I pay homage to Triple Zem, the Buddha, Dhamma, and the Sangha. My respect goes to my parents and my teachers. Hello, good evening, everyone. So today is Wednesday, the 7th of October 2020. And this is Ajahn Sujan from Varapunya Meditation Center, Aberdeen, Scotland. First of all, I would like to apologize for last night, unable to lead the guided meditation due to some other businesses. Hello, Manish, Margaret, and everyone. So, today, this afternoon, we installed the window glass, and we were again planning for the flooring in that barn. So hopefully we will be able to finalize that how we are going to put the floor in, and once the floor in, then we plan that once the floor done and all the paints finished, then we plan to have classes, like a pre-booked classes for about 6 to 7 or maybe 8 people. There, with the social distance, we will be able to have around that many people at one time. So that's a tentative plan at the moment. But however, there is also a news just coming that possibility of having another lockdown locally. So we never know. In the meantime, the other cities are again under the lockdown. So it's a very uncertain time, and it's coming back again and again, causing disruptions in our family and in our communities. But in the meantime, now I think we all are aware that we have to live with it, and we have to keep on eyes and keep ourselves safe, and as much as possible, stay away from it. But inevitably, majority of it, once in their lifetime, possibility of infection from this virus. So that's why just be mindful and just be aware, and the possible ways to prevent is the necessary action that we have to take at this time. From the news, we can gather that the virus is spreading again in different parts of the world, and in the UK it's growing. In other parts, like I was talking to one of the members in India, the number are also growing, and in Nepal I was talking, it's also growing, and the Myanmar also growing, like that. So it's quite a bit of a uncertain time. In the meanwhile, there are members, one of the close members of our center, she also got the virus as well. She normally works in a care homes, and now yesterday she was tested for positive COVID-19. Now, like that. In the meanwhile, there is another family who also have significantly supporting our center, or is also affected by the coronavirus. So with this in mind, my prayers and my thoughts are with you all, those who are affected, whether you are affected by the virus or because of the job loss, or because of you cannot find the jobs. So I hope you understand and able to carry on with your work and with your life. And this is very important. And in this time, you may have noticed that the meditation and study Dhamma has become widely known and widely practiced this time. recently I was talking to one of our Sri Lankan members, and he was saying that in Sri Lanka, majority of whether they are Buddhist or non-Buddhist began to practice meditation and study meditation. And similarly, we can find online classes on mindfulness meditation to deal with this COVID-19, or to deal with the anxiety, to deal with stress, and all sorts of mental related diseases. To tackle with these, mindfulness meditation has been introduced in different ways and different forms. And mostly, it is based on the secular practices. But having said that, it is not just a secular practice. You can find both Buddhist meditation classes and retreats online, as well as other faiths' meditations as well. So it's become very famous during this time. And obviously we do know that meditation is not solely belong to Buddhism. In every religion has got some form of a meditation, and meditation has become or is part of every spiritual practices. Whether it is in the ancient time or even the now, there are, and every religions or every faiths have got some form of this contemplation, meditations. And with that, other faiths or some other beliefs, after having done some form of a meditation, they normally go into the ecstasy or mystic practices or attainment of different knowledges and powers. And these are, again, obviously everyone can get it. And with that become the part of their religious practices, and taking that as the highest form of a meditation or connection with the higher entity or the external power. Some would say that some would say that after chanting some form of words or the mantras, or reciting the name of the such and such gods, and finally able to connect and finally tuned in, and the God or some form of divine beings have replied and talked through like that, and have given this answer, and satisfied with that. And that sort of experiences are very relevant, and every religion has got it, regardless of what faith it, or whether you have faith or non-faith. And nowadays there is another movement called New Age, and that again, spiritual, working with the spirituality for the attainment or achievement of a happy life in this modern modernity. Okay, so that's a New Age. So even that New Age, again, based on the contemplation of some form. And they also, after having done the practice, they will, feel like some form of answers are given by some form of external powers, or some form of signs and signals and symbols have given for the solution that they are stuck on something or in some ways. And these are, again, really very prevalent in every faith and every religion. But when we look at the Buddha's teachings, we find that that is not the end of the tunnel. There are more to go on with that. So that's why meditation is the last factors of Eightfold Noble Path that I'm going to concentrate now on for a couple of days. And that is known as Samma Samadhi. Or the translation is, some people would translate it as right concentration, others would translate it as right meditation, and and some would translate it as right samadhi, or the right concentration or serenity, like that. Whichever ways you translate, it suggests that this meditation, the right mindfulness, is basically talking about the attainment of the absorptions, the jhanas, that the mind is fully absorbed in. And this absorption, or the single-minded object, or single-minded state of the mind, again accompanied by a rest of other 7 factors that we have talked. So this right concentration or right meditation is again the third factors in the samadhi section, and this is a very important part of the Buddha's practice. And here we can see that some people asked me what is the difference between mindfulness and meditation. Now you can see clearly here that the mindfulness is about being mindful, or having a attention or attentiveness towards the body, feeling, mind and phenomena, whereas meditation is a form of attaining, or a form of attaining the single-minded, okay? Having a single mind, or as a form of the practice. Okay, so this mindfulness, this right meditation, according to the Buddha, that's why basically is a state of the mind which is the unified mind, or unification. It's called chittassa ekagata, which means mind. Chittassa means the mind, ekagata means having a single-minded. And this single-minded mind, that's also known as ekagata, or also known as the samadhi, and also known as the samatha. Okay, there are a few words to remember here. Okay, and that's again in the practice of a meditation, what we come to know that doesn't matter what we do, we have to pay attention to, or having a single-minded on the object or on the task that we do. A person who is thinking of cooking a rice, he has a single-minded about the cooking the rice. So that's why he can do that without any fault on it. And someone who is driving again, or someone who is doing any task, he or she has got this the concentration, and as a result of that concentration, any task that one has done, that's become the fruitful. Otherwise, if mind is scattered all around, then it would not give a good fruit. And the good simile that I normally use to explain this samadhi is like the water. If that's scattered, it hasn't got the energy. It's become a shallow water. It's dispersed. The water, the power of the water is dispersed. With that, what happens is that it cannot produce the electricity. So it cannot produce the electricity. But the very moment when we concentrate the water into one place by creating a dam, so the amount of the water will increase. As the amount of the water increase, the power of the water become more and more. The strength of the power becomes higher. And as a result of that, you will make a small channel through the dam, and with that channel, create the spinning the engine and create the electricity. And that's also the state of the mind too. The very moment when our mind is not tamed and trained and not controlled, it's basically dispersed everywhere, and haven't got the concentration, or haven't got the a single task that one is going to do or one is going to perform, and with that, the power is not there to complete or to get the success in the task that one does. A few months ago, I was watching one clip on Facebook, and the clip was a cartoon basically, and there's two lines in the bank, and there are two counters are opened, and there were a few people lined up, and one gentleman comes and then he lined up into one line, queuing to get to be served. And as he was looking at another line, another queue, he realized that queue is going faster than the queue that he was. So he changed into the new queue, and then when he moved to the next queue, he looked back on the same queue that he was, and he realized that queue is getting faster. So by that, he was changing the shifting into the one to another queue. By the time when his turn came, this time is run out. The counter just closed. So mind is like that. If we haven't tamed the mind, then we cannot concentrate on one single object or one single task. And with that, we cannot get the right result of not able to concentrate on the task that one is doing. So there are many people, for example, that we can find someone is doing one task, and before finishing that task, leave that and then move on to something else. So a very short concentration. So unable to continue concentrating or working on the same task that one is doing. So, but the very moment when you learn the meditation, learn to practice meditation, what happens is that you will be fulfilling that task first. Any task that you have touched, you will be spending much time and much effort until you succeed, or you will do your best until you reach the end of the tunnel. And then you move on to something else. It's not like that. Not like you do one thing and before ending that you touched another job. Then it brings only mess. So mindfulness helps us, meditation helps us to focus on one single task to complete. And with that, what happens is that it brings the success into our life. Success into our life. And that is the samadhi. And so that's why, rather than having a short concentration or a short-tempered or short concentrated mind, we will be able to concentrate more longer period of a time, and then ability to get success or fulfill the task more effectively and fruitfully. Okay, so that's why the samadhi or the meditation is very important, whether it is for our livings, happy life, or for the spiritual journey or spiritual attainment too. So that's why the samadhi is a quite important part. When I look at the word samadhi, I found the breakdown of the word samadhi itself, and it's a breakdown into sam and a and a da. And a sam is basically together or collective or entirely, And then that's again always into the wholesome state. Is like a bringing or bringing together, okay, a bringing to closeness. And then dha is put or the place. So basically the word samadhi itself gives us the clear meaning that what is the right concentration. So that when it comes together into the samadhi, then that's basically means gathering the attentions and focusing on a single object. So basically we are gathering all the attentions of ourselves rather than dispersed into so many thoughts and less energy. We basically bringing that all the attention, all the mind to the one pointedness. I normally call it unification of the thoughts or unification of this scattered mind. And that is known as the samadhi. Okay, and this is again even the word, the concentration, concentration. The word concentration again, it's basically coming from con and central. So concentration, sun is concentration is a noun, and tion is just a suffix added to the central, and it's become a concentration, con and a central. So that basically we are bringing our mind into the central position. That is concentration, and this is quite a unique terminology, and that basically fits into the Pali terminology called samadhi. Concentration means bringing the mind into the central, and samadhi is basically uniting or gathering together towards the single point or single object. Okay, and this is why the concentration would say is the right translation for the samadhi. And here again, samadhi is also known as a bhavana, or samatha or kamathana. A few words to remember here. Samadhi, as I said, is a place. Okay, is a place to bring together. So there is an object, and we simply gathering our mind to come to one object on that object, and with that gradually we become concentrated and gradually attain the different jhanas. And basically right meditation or right concentration is about attainment of the jhanas. Okay, the second is the bhavana, also known means the meditation. But here bhavana, in according to the Pali terminology, means cultivation or development or progress. That comes from the bhaveti, bring into being or to stable, bhaveti, and that is again can be translated as a meditation or concentration, as a kamathana, working place. But this the kamathana can be both samatha and vipassana. And here samadhi is mostly about the samatha, having one single-minded or one-pointedness is the samadhi. And the samadhi again, it's beneficial for this life and then to the next life too. In terms of living a good life and a successful in our lives, we have to have some form of a concentration on the task that we are doing. Otherwise, it will be messed up. And in terms of the spiritual development, as I said early on, that every faith has got this concentration meditation, which has given them a confidence and experience of ecstasy or mystic powers and so. in Buddhism, again, this is beyond that. Buddha simply said or instructed that this is not the end of the tunnel. There are more to learn. And then with that learning, once you have fulfilled, then you will be attaining the liberation. So that's why the samadhi is such a wonderful and important factors in the Eightfold Noble Path that helps to free ourselves and to attain the liberation, so known as vijja and vimutti. So I offer this as tonight's reflection for now, and we will be talking on this right concentration from today for a couple of days, and we'll see how far we can go on this topic. So thank you everyone for watching, and may you all get blessed and get samadhi to get all the different powers and mystic powers, and then that leads to the liberation. And may the Buddha Dhamma Sangha bless you. Stay safe, take care, and see you tomorrow. In a few moments time we're going to have evening chanting and guided meditation. You're most welcome to join. If not, then we'll see you tomorrow. Until then, see you. Thank you.